the Jazz Ranch Hip Cats, Groovy Chicks, and Finger Poppin' Daddies. I'm your altered dominant ego man. You can call me Mr. Ego if you like. You know, I'm taking over the channel tonight because, you know, the KH, he got shot. You know, I heard that he got shot, and so, like, he's not available this evening to do the video. I'm going to take over. Wait a minute. They're calling me off stage. Oh! He didn't get shot. He got a shot. Oh, I got that wrong. I came in unnoticed. Anyway, I guess he didn't get shot. He got a shot. Oh, I guess a COVID shot. I guess. Okay, all right. Anyway, up here he comes. He's got the guard dog. I got to split. Bye-bye. Hello, friends. Welcome to the Jazz Ranch Hip Cats, Groovy Chicks, and Finger Poppin' Daddies. I'm the KH. I'm sorry about the altered dominant ego man. You know, he tries to cut in on my introductions, and he read that memo wrong. He read it as I got shot. Well, I got a shot. So, anyway. He's crazy. But anyway, I have a special program for you this evening. It was a request from a subscriber who asked me to create an exercise in the minor keys. So I've created an exercise that takes you through the cycle of fifths, playing all the minor keys, all the natural minor keys. And so we'll go. I'll explain it later on. I'll play it for you, and I'll explain some things about it. And, you know, I have some quotes for you because I know you like quotes. And these are pretty good quotes, I think. Shostakovich said, "A creative artist works on his next composition because he was not satisfied with his previous one." I like that. And Johann Brahms has said this: "Without craftsmanship, inspiration is a mere reed shaken in the wind." All right? I believe that. And Malcolm Arnold has said this: "Music is the social act of communication among people. A gesture of friendship, the strongest there is." I like that. And sort of humorous one from Paul Desmond, jazz saxophonist. He said, "I tried practicing for a few weeks and ended up playing too fast." I like that one too. So here we go now with an exercise in the minor keys. So I had a request to come up with an exercise in the minor keys. In other words, relative minor of the major keys. So the first one will be A minor, which is relative to C major. It's always a sixth step. So A minor, I came up with this exercise which just has the 1 chord to the 2 chord, the 5, which is dominant, you know. I've altered it to dominant because in a minor key, the 5 chord's going to be minor. So I have to raise that to a G sharp to create the leading tone to back to A. So 1 chord, 2 chord, half diminished, 5 chord, 1 chord, then it descends down the scale to a tritone substitute, which is F7 to E, to the 5 chord again, 1 chord, 2, 5. So it's basically 1, 2, 5, 1, 2, 5. I mixed it up a little bit by putting that bass line in there just for variety, so it wouldn't be boring just to play 1, 2, 5 all the time through the whole passage. And I also wrote this out in 16 measures, but I condensed it just for the purpose of playing it for you because it would be too long to listen to the whole thing all through the cycle. Because now you have 8 measures for each key. You got 12 keys. So what does that come out to? About 96? Yeah, whatever it is. Anyway, so this exercise will be a good one to work on in every key separately, slowly, because it's all written out for you. And then when you get really good at it, then you can try playing it with a backing track. And I'm going to show you, or demonstrate for you that. And believe me, you want to eventually get to the point where you're improvising on each of these scales. And it gets pretty difficult when you get into the sharp keys. You'll see that I don't play as well on these or with much fluidity that I had in the easier keys. So I need something that I need to practice too. So I love it when I create a video in which I'm going to learn something.
To start out with A minor, which is relative to C major, so it's going to be all the white notes. So there's the A minor. Right now the scale would be starting on A, all the white notes. So all the notes that are in the C scale starting on A, which is the relative minor. That's important that you understand that the relative minor is always the sixth step of a major scale. So C and A minor. Classical composers, Beethoven, all of them, they have used the movement from major to relative minor in their concertos and in their sonatas and everything else for years and years and years. Because they are the same key signature and they have the same notes, except one is bright, one is dark. You see? So bright is, major is bright, minor is darker, the sadder, whatever sadder feeling. So we want to understand what the chords are that relate to the minor scale. So they're going to be the same chords that relate to the major scale, but in a different order. Major is going to be, let's just take the triads: C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, B diminished, C. Now if we start on the relative minor, it's going to be A minor, B diminished, the 2 chord, C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor. A subscriber asked me to give you a minor key and minor scale exercise in which you can learn your minor scales and play a drill that is going to develop your technique, playing in minor. Now, the same as major, the minor scales are just going to be relative to major. So if it's always going to be the 6th step of any major scale, be its relative minor. So you can go down a minor third, you can go up a 6th. So C major, all those notes in minor, and the classical composers have been using this for years and years to create movement in passages. They go from major to minor. Relative minor. Now the relative minor has the same notes as the relative major, and we can alter those notes in a certain way to create some other scales, other minor scales, but that's the basic scale I'm going to be using in this exercise. So you want to learn that in every key. So that's quite an assignment. But let's just start with C. Just start with one key at a time and move to the next key when you're ready to. So you want to exercise the C major scale and then the A minor scale, the relative minor scale. Now, what does the relative minor scale have in it? Well, it has a minor third, a minor 6th, a minor 7th, right? So that's it. The minor third, minor 6th, and minor 7th. Otherwise you have to define it according to the major scale of A. So the third has been lowered to minor, the 6th has been lowered to minor, and the natural 7th has been lowered to minor 7th. So you have that minor third. And that's going to be the same for every scale. In other words, every minor scale is going to have the same formula. So if we went to, next one would be, from A minor would go to up a 4th to D minor, through the cycle of fifths. D minor has the minor third. There it is, the minor 6th and the minor 7th. So we have the 1 flat in there in D minor, which is relative to F major, is a 1 flat. You see? So now the thing you want to do with improvising is you want to be able to play in that scale, play melodies based on that scale, and maybe use, if we're going to move from the 1 chord to the 2 chord, we're going to go from A minor 6 or A minor 7 to B half diminished, and then an E7, which, put that leading tone in there. That's simplifying the whole passage in that way. That's what's happening. So you can just go like that with sevenths. And it's very simple, right? Just stay right on that scale, on that, all the white notes. And I add that note. You see, so I try to create target tones. I want to create a target tone for the first chord, which is A minor 7 or A minor 6. Maybe then I want a target tone on the B half diminished. And then target tone on the E7. You see? So it's like this. You see? Now, there's two other scales you can use. Just that scale. You can use also a harmonic minor, in which that note is altered. The G is natural rather than flatted. Gives you a leading tone. Or you can play a pentatonic scale, which is relative to C major. That's major pentatonic. So minor pentatonic would be this. A, C, D, E. So I can use that scale. It simplifies the whole process doing that. And you can use a blues scale, which would be 1, flat 3, 4, flat 5, 5, flat 7. You see, so there's three scales you can use. The regular minor scale, and if you want to alter that, you can use the harmonic minor. But then the pentatonic, minor pentatonic scale and the blues scale. So there's three scales you can use in this exercise that will help you get through it and sound good. You know, and you want to start out with things that are simple and work up to the more difficult things if you practice more. Now you might be asking, why should I learn or practice this exercise? What is it? How can I make it practical? What is the practical application of this exercise? Well, first of all, you will use this progression in a variety of tunes. For instance, one would be Yesterday, Yesterday's. Another one would be Softly as a Morning Sunrise, Invitation. And there's many minor key songs that will use this kind of a progression. But in addition, what it will do is it will help you to understand in a deeper way the keyboard and also develop your ears. In other words, you're going to begin to hear how to use the keyboard, particularly in the more difficult keys like C sharp minor and F sharp minor, B minor, and those sharp keys, how to maneuver around in those keys comfortably and play melodic lines that you hear in your head. But you can't play because the intervals are difficult. You know, within sharps, for pianists, we don't play in those keys as much as do horn players or alto sax players, or trumpet players, and so on. They play in sharp keys. As pianists, we don't play in the sharp keys that much. You can't name that many tunes that are in sharp keys. So we haven't really developed our technique in like, you know, A, which is relative to F sharp minor, or D, which is relative to B minor, or actually E, which is relative to C sharp minor, and that sort of thing. We don't play in those keys that much, so we don't develop a technique for it. So this exercise is going to really expand your abilities, I think, not only in learning tunes, but just in having a deeper musical understanding of the keyboard and your ear, what you can hear with your ear. In other words, you hear when you're playing a wrong note, so you can correct it because you're playing on a difficult scale. You know, your ear will tell you when you play a wrong note right away. And when that happens, then you can fix it, and then you can become a better player over time. So I give a lot of credence to this exercise. Now I want to say that if you're a beginner level or you're a level of easy piano, you might want to just take the first two keys and separate them and play over those and practice those two keys for a while before you move on to the next two keys. So you might just want to do the A minor key and then the D minor key. Just do, and then repeat, you know. You can always put the 5 after it to take you back to 1, you know. And just practice those 2 keys. And then when you've mastered those, you think it sounds really good, then move on to the next 2 keys. Or do D minor to G minor, or go G minor to C minor. Now when you get into the difficult keys, that's for more advanced playing, and if you're intermediate, then you want to get into those right away and work on those separately maybe. If you feel like you've really mastered the easier keys and you want to move on to the more difficult keys like B minor, well I say B flat minor, and then E flat minor, and then maybe A flat minor, and then C sharp minor, you know, do 2 or 3 of them at a time. You know, this is great, and you will not only expand your ears, but you'll begin to be able to play in any key comfortably over time just by using this exercise. When you get into a tune that has difficult chords in it, C sharps, F sharp minors, and that sort of thing, you will have mastered it by just working on this exercise. You will really know those scales, and you really know how to play around those keys melodically. That's the important thing. Now, for those of you that are adventurous and you want to get into this exercise, I've written out a score you can follow, 4 pages. It'll be on my website and won't be any charge for that. You can download it and practice it. And also, I'll be putting the backing track on my channel. And I'll show you, in the description, I'll show you how to get that. In other words, just go to backing tracks and my name and name the song. In which this case it's called just Exercise in Minor Keys. So that's the name of the song. And you can use that backing track, and that will really challenge you to play in tempo. And you can just start out with the right hand playing, try to play the melodies. Eventually add the left hand and work it up, you know, 1 step at a time. So I'm going to give you those 2 things. I'm going to give you the score, and I'm going to give you the backing track. And also, if you want to have the more difficult keys as an assignment that would be practical, I can give you a backing track of the difficult keys 4 times. In other words, 8 bars times 4. So each one will have 32 bars so that you can really practice and lay on those difficult keys, starting out with A flat minor to C sharp minor, and then up to F sharp minor, and then to B minor, and then E minor. You'll have those all in the exercise, and you can practice that over and over again so you get really comfortable in those keys. The more you play in these keys, the better you'll get at it, you know, and you'll really feel good about it, I'm sure. Signing off, I hope you will enjoy this exercise and find it useful to expanding not only your ear, but your knowledge of the keyboard playing in minor keys. So write to me. I'd love to hear from you. We're going to sign off now. Signing off from the Jazz Ranch. Thanks for hanging out with me this evening. Hope you enjoyed this. Please write to me. I don't know if it's any good until I hear from you. And I will always respond to comments if you give me enough time. And until next time, I'll say in the great words of Hermie Dressel, get the shot and swing loose. We'll see you next time around. Bye-bye.